everybody, and welcome to the special on the strawberry full moon that happens in the 7th Sabin degree Sagittarius on the 22nd of June. And remember, all times are in GMT, and I base all of the readings and things I post on Vedic constellational astrology, which is always based on where the position of the moon and sun and the planets are at any given time in the constellations. So yeah, okay, so when I do my full and new moon analysis, I use Sabian symbols. I also use this in all my other analysis of the planets and stuff. So I decided to just record this and put it at the beginning of all of these, and so you can skip past this if you heard it before. So Sabian symbols in astrology are a set of 360 symbolic images, and karmic and holistic astrologers like myself and those astrologers that like to go in depth or work more intuitively as well, or just drawn to Sabian symbols, use them. And each of these 336 symbols corresponds to one degree of the zodiac. So there's 30 Sabian symbols for each zodiac sign. And Sabian symbols were developed by one of my favourite astrologers because of his earlier contributions, Mark Edmund Jones, and psychic Elsie Wheeler in the 1920s. And each Sabian symbol offers a unique insight into the energy and the more esoteric, spiritual and karmic meanings of a particular degree in the zodiac. And I sort of use these symbologies, and especially at the time of the full and new moons, because I see these as really more times for us to go inward and reflect on ourselves, even though the new moon is more about starting new things. But for some of you, you might just find that the new moon too is a time of reflection. So yeah, Sabian symbols allows me to go into nuanced, esoteric, spiritual and karmic meanings. So yeah, thanks for listening to this. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into carry on. Okay, so the full strawberry moon in the 7th degree Sagittarius on the 22nd of June signifies a time of increased emotions and romantic energy, as the Sagittarius influence encourages us to seek adventure and embrace new experiences. We just had the summer solstice, the heat of the summer's upon us. Sagittarius is all about being open to new, so let us be open, but you know me, don't ignore red flags and always stay cautious. But yeah, so yeah, this period can manifest as a period of optimism and enthusiasm for going after our goals and going after relationships, or bringing new fun into our relationships. Summer atmosphere is good for nice walks, going to restaurants or other places that you and your partner or partners like to go to, or if you're single or self-partnered, you can go on your own. So on a practical level, the full strawberry moon wants us to be open to the opportunities that can come knocking at our door, calling for us to take a chance and explore new possibilities. Just like, let's imagine Cupid knocking at your front door. This lunar phase pushes us to open ourselves up to love, creativity and inspiration. On a worldly, materialistic level, it wants us to reassess our values and priorities, highlighting the importance of seeking abundance, and not just in material possessions, but also in our emotional, psychological fulfillment, happiness, and our spiritual growth as well. And financially, the energy of this full moon inspires us to take calculated risks in our investments or our career paths. Just as Cupid's arrow aims true, we are encouraged to trust our instincts and follow our hearts when making important financial decisions at this time. Socially and collectively, the strawberry full moon in the 7th degree of Sagittarius emphasises the power of connection and communication. So as I said, it encourages us to reach out to others, build new relationships, repair old ones if you feel it's safe and non-toxic for you to do so, and strengthen your existing bonds, and especially the relationship that you have with yourself as well. Just asking yourself in what areas you've not been looking after yourself, you've been neglecting yourself, in what areas you've been doing well of taking care of yourself, and just reflecting on, ways that you can better take care of yourself in the coming month. So yeah, just like the symbology of Cupid's presence at the front door, we are reminded of the transformative nature of love and unity in creating a harmonious collective consciousness. So, empowering ourselves to build better relationships, starting with the relationship we build over a lifetime with ourselves. So on the personal level, it pushes us to reflect on our relationships, both platonic, romantic, co-worker, whatever, and consider how we can nurture our connections so that they can bring us more joy and fulfillment. It encourages us to be open to new experiences and embrace the unexpected with a sense of adventure and optimism. Psychologically, the full strawberry moon in Sagittarius invites us to dig into our beliefs, values and perceptions of the world around us. It pushes us, urges us to expand our minds, challenge our assumptions, our beliefs, what we think true about ourselves and the world. So yeah, by being open to new perspectives, you can, solve problems that maybe you've been trying to solve for years, decades even for some of you, From a spiritual and esoteric standpoint, the full moon, wants us and gives us the vibration of energy, transformation, enlightenment. It wants us and supports us in having a spiritual awakening or a deeper connection with our inner selves and higher consciousness, a higher power, just connecting with others on a deeper level. It ultimately encourages us to listen to our intuition, follow our heart's desires and trust in the unseen forces that are guiding us on our journey. So now I'm going to talk about the karma, the karmic lessons and past life implications of the strawberry full moon. So yeah, the strawberry moon brings opportunities for us to address unresolved matters related to love, relationships and emotional connections from our past lives or, early on in our lives, reflecting on our, not so much obsessing over our exes or past relationships, but just reflecting on the patterns that may have happened, even if all your exes look different. What themes, what habits did they all share or didn't share? What qualities do you seek from a love partner? What qualities do you seek from yourself? What things are you seeking from others that you should be giving to yourself and so forth? Just having a deep look at your love style and your desires and your needs and wants and needs, and finding a way to balance your desires, your wants and your needs, what you actually need to have a balanced life, because our relationships, especially the one that we have with ourselves, dictates all we do in life, doesn't it? Our ability to focus on our job, our educational goals, pay rent and stuff, because sometimes we can get in toxic relationships and slack on the things that we need to pay attention on. So the symbology of Cupid knocking at the door wants us to have an awakening or sort of like realization of, our love styles and our relationships. For some of you, you may have an excellent relationship with yourself and your partners, and maybe you can help others at this time. But also don't delude yourself, because we can all be like, I'm the perfect human being, and we're not. Really take a solid look at your love style, how you relate to yourself and others, and how you can bring more harmony into this area. So karmic lessons push us to evaluate how we approach relationships, both romantic and platonic, and dig into our past patterns and behaviours that get in the way of our growth and advancement in our relationships and in all areas of our life. Because like I said, typically our relationship with ourselves affects how we interact with the world and our progress in the world as a consequence. So in terms of past life implications, dreams for some of you, if you are in tune with like your higher self and your dream world, can show to you areas where you had strong emotional ties to people, and some of you may experience dreams where you're reunited with individuals from your soul history, or you may meet someone, or you already may be in a partnership with someone and you may find it hard because you feel like you've had many lovers. Now, I believe in soulmates, and I used to be like, I can't leave because they're my soulmate. It took me a long time to realise and change to this, what I'm about to say, but I believe the longer we live, of course, we're going to meet loads of different people and have loads of soulmates. And this is why for me the proof is in the pudding. Like, if a relationship is toxic and it's damaging your mental health and other people involved, and then friends and family, maybe children's mental health, then sometimes we need to let that toxicity go. Sometimes love is not enough, and the child in me hates that, but I realise sometimes it's the proof is in the pudding. That's my motto across all the board holistically. You can love someone or you could want to do something, but if every time you try a particular action it always turns out wrong, well, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and try new things and you still get the same results. Sometimes you have to just think about letting those toxic relationships or that toxic thoughts, patterns, beliefs and way of being in the world and perceiving the world and stuff go. So what comes up now, this full moon wants us to heal unresolved issues and complete cycles of karma in regards to how we relate to others and how we give and receive love and how we express and process and make room for our emotional, spiritual and psychological growth. So we are encouraged to embrace the lesson of love, forgiveness and self-discovery as we continue our soul's evolution. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that the sun and the moon make at the time of this full moon and how they influence this full moon positively and negatively. So first, the moon makes an opposition to Mercury, so this can help us with our communication skills and make it easier for us to express our feelings and thoughts effectively. But negatively, there can be a tendency towards overthinking or misunderstandings in conversations, and this can lead to confusion or miscommunication. The moon's opposition to Venus positively, increases our sensitivity and empathy in our relationships, helping us foster, create, develop deeper connections. But negatively, it can, make us more emotionally moody and changeable. People saying yes then no and feeling like they want one thing 1 minute and then don't want it the next. So, and this can create tensions in relationships. So it's important to communicate as much as you can and not say things you don't mean, but being aware also that other people may be saying and doing things that they don't necessarily mean as well. And just being objective while also allowing yourself open to love and change and empathy. The sun also makes a conjunction to Venus, so again this allows us to have a good sense of self and be open to expressing ourselves creatively, and it promotes us loving on ourselves and appreciating ourselves, forgiving and understanding, healing and managing ourselves. But negatively, the increased vanity that some of us may have at this time may distort our self-image, and we may become overly focused on superficial pleasures right now. The moon also makes a quintile to Uranus, so it encourages us to embrace change and being spontaneous and being innovative and excited about life and the newness, but negatively it can make us impulsive and unpredictable during this full moon. So we just need to be a bit mindful and bring some balance. The moon square to Neptune also increases our intuition and creativity, but again can add to the confusion, emotional sensitivity, and also escaping into drugs and intoxicating substances, relationships. And you've got to be careful when we're working with the psychic realms also with Neptune energy, because or just in life, because realistically, while we're exploring the psychic realms, we have to remain grounded and know, just like we have people that are misguided in real life, there's people in the astral realm which may give incorrect information, because remember that people can only see as well as far as they can see. You don't go onto the next side of life and become a saint. You still have your sort of level of awareness and stuff like that. So we just have to watch out for manipulation in the real world and in the psychic, in the world that we see, in the unseen world actually. because also the sun makes a square to Neptune, and this adds to the lack of clarity and misunderstandings that can come up as well. But the moon's semi-set star to Pluto, although a subtle energy, allows us to gain emotional depth and become empowered by being open to healing our psychological, spiritual and emotional relationship wounds. But negatively can also add to the power struggles as well and make us more intense in our emotions. So we just have to really navigate our emotional world during this full moon. And the sun's quinquats to Pluto also can trigger inner conflicts and control issues as well, so we just need to watch out for that. But positively also promotes our self-awareness and forgiveness as well. And also at the time of the full moon, there's a T-square that happens between the moon in Sagittarius, Neptune in Pisces and the sun in Gemini. So a T-square in astrology happens when 3 or more planets form a challenging aspect, and this creates tension and dynamic energy. Positively, it can push us to take action and make the necessary changes that we need to, but negatively it can add to the frustration and conflicts and any turmoil that we feel. And the T-square happening between Neptune, the sun and the moon at this time can intensify emotions, which is represented by the moon, illusions and confusion, which is represented by Neptune, and bring communication issues, which is represented by the sun. So it can really bring an increased sense of longing for emotional connection for some of you, and there can be challenges in expressing yourself clearly as well, and deceptions in relationships as well, so we just have to watch out for that. This is like doubly amplified, the deceptive nature of this full moon and the coming weeks afterwards, the next month, because there's one full moon lasts right up until the next full moon. So we have to just be aware of this, be honest and have compassion for others and ourselves as well, and be open to reassessing our relationships, which this strawberry full moon wants us to do, and think about our emotional, psychological and spiritual boundaries and the ways we communicate with others and how we communicate our desires and needs to ourselves and others. And if we putting in plans to improve on these areas, and by embracing the energy of this T-square, we can tap into our inner strength and develop deeper connections with ourselves and others, and and open up to new possibilities of allowing love and happiness into our lives. So now I'm going to talk about the Sabian degrees that are really active during this strawberry full moon. So we've got the moon in the 7th degree of Sagittarius, as I said, the sun in the 7th degree of Gemini, Venus in the 12th degree of Gemini too, Neptune in the 6th degree of Pisces, and Pluto in the 8th degree of Capricorn. So as we have already explored, the 7th degree of Sagittarius wants us to explore and have a quest for knowledge and expand our horizons and embark on new adventures, especially when it comes to higher education, whatever that may mean to you. For some of you, it may be figuring out a new healthy eating plan, others, legal research, philosophical research, spiritual research for others, for others, a new sort of like exercise plan, a new plan with your partners or partner, and how you can manage, your couple goals and individual goals, or your family routine and stuff like that. But negatively, as I said, it can make us more impulsive and reckless and have unrealistic expectations. So we just need to make sure, yes, this full moon wants us to reflect and make new plans, in terms of, thinking about how we relate to others and ourselves. But we also need to set ourselves reasonable timescales to implement these new plans that we may start and develop right now, or these new relationships that we may start or develop right now as well. Because if we don't do that, we can feel ourselves being more restless and just feeling unhappy, and this kind of irritability can lead to conflicts and misunderstandings in our relationships. The sun in the 7th degree of Gemini and has the Sabian symbol of old-fashioned well, adds an element of, nostalgia and reflection, so it adds to the karmic meaning, so that we can reconnect with the past or rediscover hidden passions, talents and hobbies, or, music that we no longer listen to, But it can also bring up unresolved issues or emotional baggage that could get in the way of your personal growth and bring restlessness and just, feelings of unease, again, adding to conflicts if we don't manage this energy. So it's essential, to guard yourself against careless words and actions that could lead to regrets or misunderstandings. And also forgiving others, giving them grace, because, we all make mistakes as well. And if they, say something careless, even though it will hurt, don't invalidate your own feelings, but at the same time, sometimes forgiving others rather than blaming can save so many years of pain and, mentally, physically, psychologically. And so, also Venus is in the 12th degree of Gemini, so the Sabian symbol for this is a black slave girl demands her rights of her mistress, and at the time of writing these were the languages used. And so this image reminds us that we may feel, and also reminds us that we need to be assertive in our relationships, and we need to empower ourselves and to stand up for ourselves as well. But negatively, because we are more willing to stand up for ourselves, this can bring more conflict to the power dynamics, or bring issues to communication in our partnerships as well. So it's really important during this full moon that you just stay alert. Neptune is in the 6th degree of Pisces, so the symbology for this is officers on parade may enchant intuition and bring about spiritual sort of like insights that can just help us feel more secure within ourselves, or just feel more grounded and balanced within ourselves while, the chaos erupts within and around us during this time. Have to add the humour in, right? So negatively, it can add to the confusion and deception and the unrealistic expectations and delusions that I mentioned earlier. Pluto in the 8th degree of Capricorn again helps us with this transformation that this full moon wants us to do, to release the negative ways that we have in our relationship with ourselves and others, and negative views, toxic views we may have about love, and outdated beliefs that are stopping us from progressing. So Pluto in the 8th degree of Capricorn has the symbol of birds in the house singing happily. So it confronts us and challenging us to confront our fears and desires head on, so we can become more empowered. It provides us with the courage that we need, but also again warns of the power struggles. So as I said earlier when I was talking about the aspects that involve Pluto, Neptune, Sun and the Moon, that we just need to make sure that we stay as grounded as we can, and not be scared of opening ourselves up to what we need to open ourselves up to right now. Okay, so now I'm going to talk more about the physical meanings and the holistic, social, collective meanings, and more about the psychological, spiritual and esoteric occult meanings of the Sabian symbols for the Moon, the Sun, Venus, Neptune and Pluto. So the Sabian symbol for the Moon, Cupid knocking on the door, as I said earlier, reminds us of new beginnings in relationships and our partnerships. Physically, it relates to the right superior femoral artery in the human body, which, arteries are really important for our health. Block one and, it can be fatal. So it signifies that we have to be aware of the flow of energy and vitality through connections with others and ourselves, and how making peace with our inner turmoil, learning to understand and manage it, can really ground ourselves in ourselves, and how this grounding in ourselves can help us lead productive lives. Even though it is hard, it's not easy. None of this stuff I talk about, I won't lie. This is why I say it's a lifelong journey, picking yourself up after the million failures that you will encounter as you make all these changes. And once you realise that failure is not a weakness, it's a actually a big sign that at least you're trying, especially if you keep on going. You know, you eventually will get success, and I'm not saying you're going to smash all the goals that you have, but I believe, and I've seen in my own life, if you keep on pushing forward, you know, even if sometimes you're falling, you will make that process. So holistically and social, collectively, it encourages us to open ourselves up to harmony, love, cooperation, and psychologically it allows us to have emotional breakthroughs and deepen bonds with others. Spiritually, it allows us to connect with ourselves and others on the soul level. The Sun in the 7th degree of Gemini has the Sabian symbol of an old-fashioned well, as I said. So, you know, this is all about seeking knowledge or wisdom from traditional or foundational sources, and this symbol physically is linked to the apex of the lungs in the human body, and this represents a search for fresh inspiration and ideas to breathe new life, breathing new life into our plans. Holistically, it urges us to explore our roots and foundations to find renewed energy and creativity, because a lot of the times we say, especially when we've had trauma in our childhood, we can be like, it's all crap, I forget it, or don't want to know none of it, you know, and yeah, it can be hard and painful, but I feel that we sort ourselves off from the wisdom. What I learned in my life is that a lot of the time what people do don't line up with what they say, but sometimes even the people that are hypocritical, then, if you want to label people, you know, they, you know, can talk good things. And a lot of my knowledge has come from people who have not actually been what you would say the best examples of human beings, you know. So it wants us to go back to our roots and think, what actually about the words or experiences were good, and what could actually help me to build a better life for ourselves, and allow ourselves to dig deep into our being and uncover hidden insights, information that can push us forward in our plans. Psychologically, it allows for our intellectual growth and research, and it encourages us to embrace new beliefs. Spiritually, the Sun in the 7th degree of Gemini reminds us to connect with ancient wisdom and traditions, and by tapping into the wellspring of that knowledge that has been passed down through generations, can really help uplift us. And with self-reflection, we can integrate these timeless truths into our modern lives and improve our lives. So yeah, on the social collective level, it wants us to embrace love, harmony, and cooperating with other people in our communities, family, you know, our partners, you know, just exploring our roots, and just allowing ourselves to be open to that renewed energy and creativity. And so yeah, also Venus is in the 12th degree of Gemini, and as I said, Sabian symbol is, you know, standing up, someone standing up for their rights, demanding their rights from their mistress. So this means us demanding our rights from our self-destructive behaviours, our addictions, our toxic relationships and thoughts, you know, to update it. It's about, you know, okay, I've lived 20, 30, 40 years, you know, like this, and yeah, it's going to be hard for me to change, but I can do it, you know, saying I want my willpower back from the toxic habits and relationships I may be having, and thought patterns and beliefs, and being open to newness. So it's about asserting ourselves for our independence, even, you know, our independence from our own self-destructive behaviours, seeking justice and breaking free from oppressive situations and beliefs and ways of being. It highlights the importance of clear communication and standing up for, you know, oneself, yourself in relationships and in society structures, you know, saying no more conforming, no more living up to others' expectations. It's my life, I'm only going to live this life once, which is true, even if, you know, I do believe in reincarnation, but I'm only going to live this life in this exact way, even if on a timeline, if it works like that in dimensions and stuff, I'll come back as this person, and it's still because of the nature of universal change and the butterfly effect. You see, I thought about this deeply, it's still not going to be the exact, so you're only going to live this exact lifetime exactly as it is now. So yeah, Neptune is in the 6th degree of Pisces. This governs, controls the left cuboid bone in our bodies. It reminds us that we need order, discipline, and a sense of accountability. It urges us to pay attention to our responsibilities and maintain a sense of decorum, integrity. And this is not necessarily living up to the morals that society tells us, but our own values, but also getting real about are they actually our own values. Psychologically, Neptune in the 6th degree of Pisces wants us to confront power dynamics, embrace our authenticity, our true selves, our passions, and our self-expression, and honour our inner truths. Spiritually, it wants us to explore the deeper layers of our subconscious and desires and connect with our intuition to navigate the complexities of human relationships and, society structures with compassion and awareness. Pluto in the 8th degree of Capricorn governs the lymph vessels in the knee, and again, its focus is on healing, transformation, regeneration. The sabin symbols of the birds in the house wants us to find a sense of peace and contentment in our surroundings, pushing us to embrace being more positive and celebrating the beauty of the life and just accepting our past and forgiving ourselves. We can't change the past, but we can prepare a better future for ourselves by committing to a lifelong journey of personal development and understanding. And yes, I know you want to switch me off. You'd rather Netflix and chill. We all do, rather than do that inner and shadow work, because it's so hard. We'd rather numb ourselves, indulge in our intoxicating substances and stuff. Like, I totally understand it's not sexy what I'm saying, but doing the inner work and getting into your emotional core and releasing any residual negativity can really just allow you to see the world, see yourself, see life in a whole different way. So this energy of Pluto gives us the grounding to embrace positivity in a practical way by taking those practical daily steps to change. And by doing this, we can embrace a renewed sense of vitality and well-being within ourselves. Holistically, it reminds us of the importance of nurturing our emotional, spiritual and psychological, as well as taking care of our physical health to maintain balance in our, our spiritual and physical bodies. It pushes us to pay attention to our lymph system, focusing on our needs, which are crucial for stability and movement. From the social collective perspective, and the energy of the birds encourage us to be joyful within our communities, within our families, within ourselves, symbolising unity, togetherness and shared happiness, fostering a sense of connection and belonging within us, promoting cooperation, mutual support and a shared vision for a better future. It pushes us to release old patterns and embrace, growth. Okay, so, by incorporating the psychological, spiritual, esoteric and social collective meetings of this full moon, we can confront our deepest emotions and inner shadows and embark or continue or start, as I said, our journey of profound healing and self-discovery. It urges us to tap into the unseen energies, to the newness of life and of ourselves and our passions. And as we dig into these ancient wisdoms and traditions, we can start a journey of reflection to integrate timeless truths into our modern lives and breathe new life into our plans. So in summary, the June luminous full strawberry moon wants us to reflect on its mystical glow and ponder the mysteries of the universe that it unveils, shows us. So we should embrace this cosmic energy and allow it to awaken within us a renewed sense of purpose, passion and inner peace. And as the cosmic energies of the full strawberry moon and the sun, converge, come together, it's crucial to approach new adventures or relationships with more mindfulness and a grounded perspective, allowing for growth and transformation while navigating potential challenges with grace. So overall, the full strawberry moon in the 7th degree of Sagittarius on the 22nd of June invites us to navigate a delicate sort of balance between communication, emotional sensitivity, creativity and adaptability, being flexible. So thanks for listening, and that's the end of this special on the strawberry full moon that happens in June 2024.